Before we start, I just want to say, I am indeed wearing a top. I am not wearing any foundation and concealer today. Just a little bit of brows and mascara because we are talking about my skincare routine. I am so passionate about skincare. I have so much to say about this topic. So I'm going to put some timestamps in the description box because I like organization and structure and lists. They make me happy. For those of you who are new, my skin type could be best described as dry, so lacking oil, dehydrated, lacking water or moisture, quite fragile, so it tends to tear and scratch quite easily, and recently I would also describe as quite sensitive, so reactive to particular surfactants and acids, skincare ingredients. Let's start with the evening routine, shall we? I like to keep things pretty simple, so my evening skincare routine is comprised of 4 steps: makeup removal, cleanse, moisturize, and lip balm. So depending on the day, makeup removal can go one of 2 ways. If I'm wearing a ton of makeup or really long wearing makeup, or maybe I'm just feeling especially grubby on that day, then I'll go with an emulsifying oil cleanser. So this isn't like your coconut oil, your olive oil. It actually does have ingredients that emulsify and allow the oil to rinse clean. I've demonstrated this in a few previous videos. And the 2 that I'm going between right now are the Dermalogica Precleanse and the Shu Uemura cleansing oil. Although, to be honest, I've enjoyed a lot of cleansing oils. These are your industrial strength makeup removers. But for my lighter makeup days, just sort of day to day, I'll often use a micellar water on a cleansing round. And again, I've alternated between a few brands. I like the Simple one, I like the Garnier one. Right now I'm on a bit of a Bioderma kick. I think nowadays people are pretty familiar with micellar waters. I don't need to say much, but it's pretty cool technology that uses a water-like fluid to remove mild to kind of moderate amounts of makeup, and it's just really convenient. So now that my makeup is removed, I like to do a proper cleanse. And you guys would have heard me talk about the La Roche-Posay Lipika Cleansing Body Cream Gel Anti-Irritation. I featured this in a ton of my empties. I've used it since I was a teenager. And recently, I'm unable to find it. I've searched multiple price lines and chemist warehouses. The sales assistants are telling me, you know, I don't think we stock that anymore. And then I become that crazy customer, like, but it's still on the website. Could you maybe check out the back? Could you check other stores? And I even tweeted them, like, it's becoming a little bit too much right now. I'm just being a pain in the butt. So I think it's time for me to mourn and accept and move on. So instead, I've been using the QV Gentle Foaming Cleanser. So it says foaming, but it's actually just the pump that aerates the product. It's not a sudsy kind of cleanser at all. And like my beloved La Roche-Posay Lipika, this is just a really basic, bland cleanser. There's no big claims or bells and whistles that sound good in theory, but just make it more likely to irritate my now sensitive skin. I really like this. So we're cleansing away, Now hold that thought. I want to have a quick chat about acne. So it's going to sound like I'm going on a detour, but I am going somewhere with this story, I promise. For a good year or 2 there, I was struggling with closed comedones. Comedones? Comedones?
Comedones.
Comedones, no.
Comedones.
You're wrong, lady. It's comedones.
Comedones.
Comedones? I think you guys are wrong.
Comedones.
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 It often presents as like a cluster of under the skin bumps. It's actually a blackhead that hasn't made its way to the surface of the skin yet. And it's a really frustrating kind of congestion because it's so stubborn. It can kind of hang around for weeks or months, and then eventually when you just lose patience and you try to extract that sucker, it erupts into the pimple to end all pimples. Anyway, so if someone were to come to me with this concern, I would recommend 3 things. A, introduce an oil cleanser. B, make sure you're double cleansing to really remove any debris and excess makeup. And then number 3, maybe implement a mild AHA or BHA to decongest the pores. But the problem was, I was already doing all of these things and the bumpy congestion was not responding. And then I found a miracle. I found a damn miracle, and it's a cloth. So let's quickly rewind. I've got that cleanser on my face and I take my damp cloth and using the lightest touch, I just buff in small circular motions, particularly on those areas where you get that congestion. I use the cloth just every evening, so once a day. And legit within 2 weeks, I noticed that that congestion had almost entirely dissipated. I guess my skin just needed some sort of very gentle physical exfoliation. I still get the occasional closed comedones, but they tend to clear up really quickly. They don't hang around for months on end. Quick disclaimer, I'm not saying that cloths are the cure for all kinds of acne. If you have inflammatory acne, I would actually say proceed with caution. But if you are struggling with that stubborn under the skin congestion, you can buy really inexpensive muslins. I think it's worth a go, and for me, it's completely changed my skin. So once I've done my cleansing cloth action, then I rinse off the remainder of the cleanser, make sure that I rinse that really thoroughly, and then I move straight on to moisturizer. I don't religiously use serums. Maybe it's just this stage of my life, but I've never really found one that I think justifies the often high price point and also justifies adding another step into my routine, at least not at this stage of my life. So I'm gonna list my favorite moisturizers. I've got a few in rotation. And I'm going to list these in order of emollient, so richest to lightest. The Dr. Spiller Collagen Cream. You guys have seen so much of this product on my channel. It is so rich that I would almost describe the consistency as a little bit kind of waxy. And then I also really love the Dermalogica Super Rich Repair. This is super rich, but it's not waxy like the Dermalogica. I would say this one is more of a cream kind of consistency. The Dr. Barbara Sturm Face Cream. So this is actually quite a lightweight cream, but it manages to keep my face from feeling tight, because sometimes at the end of the day, or even when I wake up in the morning, like I feel like my face is tight. And this really does keep that at bay. Also, it doesn't have a smell, which I like in a product. And then finally, the Clinique 72-Hour Moisture Surge. This is really great for dehydration. And it's more of a gel consistency. You don't have to be dry in order to enjoy that one. The one that I've used for the longest and definitely most consistently is the Dr. Spiller Collagen Cream. You guys are probably sick of hearing me talk about this, but as I said, so thick that it could almost be described as waxy. It's got this kind of a collusive texture, so it creates a barrier between your skin and the environment around it. And if you have a dry, dehydrated, sensitive skin type like me, or even if you feel like your skin's natural barrier function is compromised, then occlusive is actually a good thing. On that note, while we're talking about occlusive, if I have like a flaky patch, or if I've got a blemish that's come to a head, I'll often seal it overnight with something like the Lucas Pawpaw Ointment, Vaseline, Neosporin. I'm a big believer in moist healing. Moist, I know everyone loves that word. If you've not heard of moist healing, it's worth a Google, kind of interesting information. But also, if you put something gooey on a blemish, then you are less inclined to pick it. SMRT. And then finally, I slather on a really thick layer of lip balm to sleep in. And if you're new here, hello, my name is Karima. I have chronically dry and chapped lips. It's a situation. So lip balms have to work really hard for me. And my two absolute favorites, can't live without, are the Laneige Lip Sleeping Mask and the Bite Agave Lip Mask. And both of these have a really thick kind of salve consistency, and I put them on before bed, and then when I wake up the next morning, I still have lip balm on my lips. That's impressive. Let's quickly go through my morning routine as well, because it's not terribly dissimilar. My morning routine also consists of 4 steps. So cleanse, moisturize, sunscreen, and lip balm. So I give my skin a quick cleanse with the QV Gentle Cleanser. I'm just using my fingers. I only use the cloth once a day. I feel like that's enough for me. And then I'll use one of the 4 moisturizers that I mentioned earlier, just kind of depending on what my skin's doing that day. And then I will apply an SPF. I try to be really vigilant about this. I've said it before, SPF is the best anti-aging product that you can implement in your routine. And I've got 2 in circulation right now. So on the days where I'm wearing makeup, I really like the Dermalogica Skin Perfect Primer, SPF 30. Last time I mentioned this, I feel like there was a little bit of confusion in the comments section. It is both a primer and an SPF, but in order to get that SPF 30 protection, you must apply liberally like you would any other SPF. Just wanted to throw that out there. But it is an SPF that's housed in a silicone base, so it really smooths out the pores and it sits beautifully under makeup, and it makes my makeup last longer. And it's also a physical SPF. I'm generalizing here, but physical SPFs tend to sit better on your sensitive skin types. They don't irritate sensitivities as much, and it doesn't irritate my skin. And then if I'm just going to the beach, right, and I just want to put sunblock all over my chest and whatnot, then I like the Tarte Guard. So this is a little bit more of like a standard cream sunscreen consistency. It's not too thick though, and I feel like the white cast isn't so bad. And that I believe is also a physical SPF, and it doesn't irritate my skin. So yeah, those are the two SPFs that I am enjoying right now, but I'd love your recommendations. If you have an awesome SPF, I wanna know, you tell me down below. Again, I'll toss on my lip balm. I've got one in pretty much every room of my house and my studio and my car because lip balm is life. And that's pretty much my everyday core routine. I do love a mask, treatment, exfoliant here and there, so much so that I feel like that deserves its own video, its own mask, treatment, exfoliant video. So if that's something you're interested in, also let me know in the comment section down below and I can do that for you. So that's what I do at home. Now in terms of what I get done like at a facialist or a clinic, I occasionally get facials. I love the facials at Face Plus Medispa. I get the enzyme facial, it's awesome. And also I'm getting a Dermalogica facial tomorrow. I'm so excited. And these are really lovely, lovely things, right? Especially at the turn of a season. It's nice to kind of go and get refreshed and get an expert to look at your skin. Is it necessary to get facials? I would say no. I would say it is a beautiful luxury. Shush phone. It is a beautiful luxury, but it is not a necessity. And then the other thing that I get done in clinic is I maintain the laser for my broken capillaries. So I've mentioned this in a few videos. It's one of those things that straight away after a session, there is this clarity to my skin that I don't have otherwise. It just looks like less red and clearer. It's really tricky to capture. I've tried to get before and after shots, but it's just so tricky to capture diffuse redness in skin. For my laser, I go to the Man's Clinic in Sydney, and I love the people there. They're very frank. They really communicate what is achievable and what is actually going to be worthwhile for you and your skin type. I wrote down the information about this laser. It's a QuadroStar Pro 577. And it has two handpieces. So one of the handpieces is small and is used to get those broken capillaries and spider veins. And then there is a larger handpiece that is moved around the face, and that addresses your kind of larger diffused surface redness in the face. And as I said, it's one of those things that straight away I walk out, I notice a difference. My skin is just so much clearer. If you are like me and you are genetically predisposed to broken capillaries and surface redness, then this is not one of those things that you're just going to do once and it's going to be fixed forever. It's one of those things that you're going to have to maintain. So go back perhaps once a year. And I'm totally happy to do that because it's one of the few things where I'm like, wow, I see a big difference in my skin. Aside from the products and the procedures, I also want to touch on some good skincare habits. And I don't like preachy crap. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life, but these are some habits that have been helpful for me and maybe they might be helpful for you. So the first one is consistency is key. I've found that a simple and consistent skincare routine has always served me well. As a beauty addict, and especially given what I do now, it is so hard to resist the temptation of like trying every new moisturizer and every cool new technology that comes out. But if your routine is inconsistent, topsy-turvy and forever changing, then the condition of your skin will be inconsistent, topsy-turvy and forever changing. This is just common sense, yeah? So when I do introduce something new into my routine, then I'll only introduce one product at a time, give it a few weeks and then reassess how I think that product is working for me. Because, for example, if I were to completely redesign my routine and change it overnight, something irritates me, something breaks me out, and I have absolutely no idea what it is because there's just too many variables involved. So only one product at a time. Habit number 3, unless I'm doing my skincare or I'm applying my makeup, I really do avoid touching my face at all. I'd never mentioned this to Adrian once, but even he has cottoned on, like, we don't touch Karima's face. I'm aware of how neurotic this sounds. I'm a neurotic kind of person, what can I say? Habit number 4, I try to avoid using hot water on my face. Even my baths and my showers, I try to keep them lukewarm. And I know that this is so easy for me to say as an Australian with the most moderate weather, you know, by most people's standards. It's always warm here. But especially if you're dehydrated, probably keeping the hot water to a minimum, it's a good thing. And then final one, I change my pillowcases twice a week. Also, silk pillowcases. So when this brand first emailed me and they were like, oh, do you want to try our silk pillowcases? I was like, yeah, I'm intrigued. But in my head, I was kind of thinking, really? Like, that is so unnecessarily bougie to me. Like, who needs silk pillowcases? And it turns out I do. Mate, I am a convert. I am such a believer. When I wake up in the morning, I don't have half as many of those creases on my face from where I've like smooshed my face into the pillow. And when these were in the wash and I tried to use my cotton pillow sheets, nah, never again. It is like sandpaper in comparison to this. All right, final topic before I finally get out of your hair. I want to talk quickly about dermatitis and eczema. So I have struggled on and off since I was a kid. I remember I used to get that really bad dermatitis in the crevice behind my ear, and I was so self-conscious about it. I thought everyone could see it, which is ridiculous because it's like nobody sees behind your ear, but I thought that they did. And then I've had some recent flare-ups. I'll pop some pictures on the screen. This is how much I love you. And yeah, I had some comments, asking for tips and advice, and I'm really hesitant to discuss it because I know that eczema and dermatitis can be a really serious medical issue for a lot of people. I can't see your skin. I'm not a dermatologist. I'm not a doctor. Please see a professional. If you have a persistent skin issue of any variety, please see a professional, yeah? All that said, I do see your comments, and here is some very sound standard advice. So I would recommend going and getting a full prick test or an allergy scan because there might be some dietary allergies that you have or some sort of allergen in your environment that you might be able to minimize, and that might help your eczema. Next, I would say to pare down your skincare routine, anything that touches your skin, to the most basic bland formulations. Just eliminate all active ingredients for a while and let your skin's natural barrier function repair itself. Sometimes just paring back your routine isn't enough, in which case you might want to try over-the-counter hydrocortisone cream. Do not use these for more than a few days at a time. They're not designed to be used long-term. No bueno, not a good idea. Sometimes if your hydrocortisone over-the-counter is not enough, you need to go visit a doctor, visit a professional. I got the Advantan Fatty Ointment from my doctor. This is a prescription product, and this stuff is bomb. When I've had some serious painful flare-ups, this has actually sorted it out overnight. But again, not a long-term solution, just a Band-Aid for the moment. Also consider your household products. So your body wash, hand wash, laundry detergents, fabric softeners, all of that kind of stuff. I know that there's times in my life when my skin has really got me down. And I just want to say, if you are out there and you're feeling kind of down about your skin, just know that every single person, all those people on Instagram and YouTube who appear to have perfect skin, all of them at some stage or another have their own skin issues of some variety. So don't feel down about it. It's just part of what makes us human. If you enjoy the videos that I produce and you're not already subscribed, then please hit subscribe so that you don't miss any of my future uploads. I hope you are having a wonderful day, whatever it is that you're up to, and I shall speak to you all very soon. Bye! I've got a habit now of doing these ones. I've been watching The Crown, so I've kind of developed this strange habit, but she doesn't do it like this. It's more of a kind of like a swish, It's like, Apparently this wave has something to do with like carpal tunnel syndrome, so that she could wave over long periods without it causing too much of a strain on her arm. Isn't that crazy? I love The Crown. If you have not watched it yet, go watch it. So I shall see you all very soon. Bye bye.